What is up, YouTube? Topher Peterson here, and welcome to my new channel, Misadventures in Coding. And in this episode, I want to talk to you guys about your first day, first week, and first month as a junior software developer. And the reason that I'm doing this video on this particular topic is I actually used to have a channel called Misadventures in Startups. But I kind of quit filming videos for that channel about 2 months ago because I got hired for my first job as a junior software developer doing React Native mobile development. So that's kind of the inspiration behind this video and my new channel. I was able to sort of leverage kind of my own startup and kind of doing my own thing, making my own apps to land this job. So I kind of wanted to try and maybe pivot my sort of kind of videos that I'm doing for YouTube towards this junior dev genre. So anyway, I want to share with you guys kind of my experience, my first 2 months working this job as a junior dev for the first time, because I know going into my first day I had no idea what to expect. I didn't really see a whole lot of videos out there online about what to expect your very first day as a junior dev. And you know, your first day as a junior dev, I think it's different than maybe, you know, getting your first day at your second job or your third job, because you've never done this before. You have no idea what to expect. And kind of furthermore, a lot of times, you know, if you get hired as a junior dev, your title might not actually be junior dev. My title's not junior dev. And, you know, the expectation might be that you're more experienced maybe than you really are. So it was quite nerve-wracking for me, but you've got this. You've got this. I assume if you're watching this video, maybe you just landed your first job and you're kind of wondering, hey, what do I expect here? You've got this. There's maybe a little bit of terminology that you won't be familiar with, and there will be some things that are different, but, you know, if you know how to code, you've built your own apps and things like that, you shouldn't have any problem. So here's kind of my take so far as a junior dev. After doing this job for 2 months, I feel much more comfortable now. But the very beginning, it was quite nerve-wracking. It was really stressful, even over things that maybe should not have stressed me out, because you've got this giant code base. You know, the code base that I'm working on, it's 50,000 lines of TypeScript. I actually counted, just kind of looked at all the different files. That's kind of a crazy person thing to do, but I looked and just kind of counted to the end. It took me way longer than I thought, because I've counted the lines, you know, not line by line, but file by file. I've done this in the past for my own personal projects, and it doesn't take all that long. You know, if your app's 5,000, let's say your app's 5,000 lines long or something. I think the biggest thing I built is like maybe 7,000 with the front end and the back end code. This app, there's 50,000 lines of TypeScript. Just for the, and then there's native code too, which I didn't count. I didn't realize there's as much native code as there is. A lot of code. So maybe that's one of the big things, is you're going to be doing a lot of reading code. Way more reading code than writing code. You know, when you're working on personal projects, I think that's what they call a greenfield project. You know, you don't have an app. You have to write all the code from scratch. At your very first job as a junior dev, there's probably going to be an existing code base, and your job is going to be to go in and make little changes. Maybe you might build some larger feature. Chances are, though, the kind of the bigger, meatier, kind of more complicated projects, the senior people are probably going to be working on that. As a junior, they're probably going to give you easier stuff to work on. It might not feel easy because you're not familiar with the code and everything, but you're probably going to get smaller things to work on. My very first assignment on day one was to just change some text. That's all I had to do was change some text in the app, which was kind of cool, because when I open the app now, I can kind of see where I added something. You know, and to do that, it was just to familiarize that's probably something that your boss will have you do. It's something similar to that, like change some text or a color or a font or something. Um, Probably to change text, because there's business people that are going to probably work at your company that are going to say, hey, we want to change this text. Instead of saying video on demand, we want it to say video visit. Something like that. That was something I did yesterday. So yeah, you're probably going to get a really easy assignment, which kind of leads us to your very first day. Your first assignment is going to be to get the source code. And that's such a kind of simple thing. At least at my company, there was no guide on how to do that exactly. With GitHub, you do git clone or whatever, but there's a good chance that your company won't be using GitHub. They'll probably be using, like my company uses Microsoft Azure DevOps. And I know there's other companies that use things like GitLab and stuff like that, which offer kind of the same things that GitHub offers, but other stuff on top of that for deploying code and things like that. Well, it was a little bit different. So the command was more like, I think it was git clone https : / and then here was kind of the gotcha that I did not know as a junior dev. You have to put this thing called a PAT after that. So it's git clone https : / and then you put this security token that identifies you, and you get that in Microsoft Azure DevOps. You can go in there and say like get credentials or something like that. Maybe I'll put that here in this video. You get that, and then you put, I think, like the rest of the URL. Okay, so that's how you go about getting the source code. Okay, step 2, and I think this maybe took me all day, is to get the source code to build on your machine. And that could be a little bit harder than you might think, because you have to get your computer set up just like all the other developers on the team, and they're probably not using the latest version. Like our app is using older versions of Xcode and different things because there's some random library that we use that depends on an older version. I don't know. For whatever reason, you end up having to like kind of sort of a time machine type deal where your machine, you don't want the latest and the whatnot. You actually want it to match the other devs. And maybe this is a little bit embarrassing. I don't know how long it would take a senior, but it took me all day. This is like, I don't know, maybe day 2 or 3. There's some other stuff I'm leaving out. I don't know. This is my company laptop back here. I'll grab. I also have my own personal MacBook, like you probably do too. I didn't get that on the first day. So the very first day, I was trying to do all this on my personal machine. I did not really want to mix like my personal projects, like my startup stuff with the company stuff. So they told me I was going to get a company computer. I wanted to keep those things separate. But for the first day, I was like, hey, I can just use mine or whatever for the first day. Second day, I think it was the second day, I went to meet up with my non-technical boss. I don't remember what his job title is exactly, but he's kind of like the head honcho, like semi-technical. I think maybe he probably did more tech-related stuff in the past, and now he's a manager. But he doesn't really write code. I don't know, maybe at some point he did. But anyway, I met up with him, and he gave me the company computer, which is actually not as nice as my personal one. I wanted to keep those things separate. And also, these MacBooks are quite expensive. So, I would advise if the company offers you a company computer, take it, because, if your computer breaks, then you're kind of on the hook. If their computer breaks, then you're maybe less on the hook. And maybe you could go use your personal one or something until it gets fixed. But anyway, take the company computer if you can get it. All right, so kind of that next, maybe this is the second week, I get a little bit more complicated assignment than just checking out or just changing some text. Okay, I've got all my computer stuff is resolved, have access to Microsoft Teams and stuff like that. Got my company computer. I get my first real assignment, which is to make, I don't know why I grabbed for this one. So, sometimes when you go to a website for the first time or use an app for the first time, there's a little, like, tutorial that tells you, like, hey, here's how you use this thing, or here's what's new if you download a new version. My job was to make this little tutorial thing for the new version um, of the app. And looking back, it was actually a very easy assignment. It wasn't hard, but at the time, I really did not know much about the company's app or anything like that. It was extremely stressful at the time, even though I don't think my bosses intended for it to be stressful and whatnot. It was, because how am I supposed to make this tutorial? And I don't really know a whole lot about our app. Brand new. So the jump between, change this text and then make this new version of the app tutorial is kind of a big leap. However, they simplified it a lot. They actually go, hey, well, we don't actually have time to build this real good tutorial. So what we want to do is we want you to take these mock-up images from our designer and just fake it. So the user logs into the app. We show them a picture of what the new version looks like with the little tooltip thing. I don't know if the users could tell that we were faking it or not. And you tap it, it goes to the next one, and then you tap it, then it goes to the real app. So I don't know if a user could tell that this was just a picture of the app versus the real app. But that was the assignment. I eventually got it done. It shipped. It went out into production. I was super excited about it. And then I talked to a family friend that actually is a user of the app. And I go, hey, did you see the thing? Blah, 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 blah. And she was like, that was really confusing. It said, XYZ thing, which wasn't true, blah, blah, blah. Well, it was fake. It didn't have real data. So, on the picture, it said, I don't really want to say where I'm working exactly right now, or what app I'm working on. But anyway, the feature kind of stunk. We sort of half-assed this feature to get it out, and it actually was really confusing. And, oh man, something fell in the background. Anyway, the feature was actually kind of a dud, and people didn't like it, and people complained, and that first real thing that I contributed, it immediately got reverted. My boss went in and did, git revert or whatever, and yeeted my first contribution out of the app. That's what I think you can expect. You're going to get a company computer, you're going to learn how to check out the source code, change some text, make a branch, submit a pull request for that branch, and then your boss will accept the pull request and whatnot. Then you'll get a little bit harder assignment. Maybe something that you write will show up in production. Maybe they'll cherry pick something that's kind of easy that they could have done, and they'll give it to you as a learning experience. And then that kind of brings me to the next thing that I didn't expect. After that big assignment, I actually, and I don't know if you'll expect this or not, at my company though, they must have allotted some time to onboard me, to my bosses, and then I didn't hear very much after that. And I was like, oh man, am I messing up? Did I not handle that? I mean, I was really stressed out at the very beginning of the job. I don't know if they could tell. Then I started, they kind of quit sending me stuff. And one of the other new hires said the same thing. It happened to him too. And me and the other new hire, we've kind of taken different approaches to assign ourselves work. But yeah, that was the first kind of 2 weeks, first month was that, and then not a whole lot going on. So I don't know if this is going to apply to anybody out there, but so if that happens to you, if you are remote, I'm filming this in October 2020, so we're kind of in a quarantine sort of for the whole coronavirus, COVID-19 deal. So if you're remote, you could kind of get lost. If you're at a company and you're a new guy and you're just kind of sitting there not doing anything, it's going to be really obvious. And somebody else that at the company probably, I assume, would swoop in and give you some stuff. But if you're working remote, you can kind of get lost and people might not be checking on you. So this is what I would advise you to do is just go and log into, we use Microsoft Azure DevOps, so that's where work gets assigned, that's where the source code lives and all that. You can go and look and see, hey, what bugs are out there. what work assignments are out there that haven't been assigned, and just start assigning yourself stuff. And that's what I started doing kind of for month number 2, and that's kind of where I'm at now. It's approaching month 2. It's October 7th. I started on October 17th, so it's almost 2 months, and I feel much more comfortable. I haven't been getting assigned a whole lot of work, but we have these daily stand-ups. So, they're twice a week. Twice a week we have a stand-up where we have to come in and do a Zoom call type deal. It's through Microsoft Teams, but it's like Zoom, and say what we're working on. So you definitely do not want to say, oh, no, I'm not doing anything. Because, junior dev job pays well. You do not want them to, get rid of you. So, you don't get assigned some work, start assigning yourself stuff. So that's what I do. I go and I look and I see what bugs have not been assigned to anybody, new bugs, stuff like that. And my boss also said, hey, yeah, you can take any work from, there's work that's listed. I'm on my boss's squad. So it's me, him, and then maybe some developers in India. So I'm kind of like his apprentice. We have the same job title, but obviously vastly different skill level. My boss has been doing this. I looked him up on LinkedIn to see, because he doesn't look that much older than me. But I think he's been doing this. I think he started going to college to study computer science in 1990. So he's been coding since I was 3 years old. So he's a lot better than I am. Forgot where I was going with this. Anyway, so I am kind of like his apprentice. That's not my job title, but that in reality, if you're a junior dev, you're probably going to be somebody's apprentice. I hope this was helpful to somebody out there. That's what you can expect. First day, you're probably going to just be doing same kind of stuff you do at any other job on the first day. Not a whole lot, just getting passwords and access to stuff. Second day you might get a company computer. Next step, you're going to be trying to get the source code for the app. Then, can you get your machine, which might take you all day to get it set up to run the app. And then you'll make your first little contribution, probably change some text. They'll probably give you, a little bit harder assignment after that. And then you're on the team. You're a member of the team. You are now a junior software developer. If you like this video, hit the like button. Subscribe if you're into that kind of stuff. And I hope to see you guys on the next episode.